Hey everybody. For those of you who have watched part one of the video, which was regarding an introduction of why Watsonx Orchestrate, where it's helpful, and also, I mentioned that there are three different ways in which you can get your website's business logic to be converted into agents or tools within Watsonx Orchestrate. And then you can further use those tools to collaborate with other tools or other agents, so on and so forth. There are three different ways in which you can do that. If your website has OpenAPI format, which means it provides APIs, or if there is an MCP server that your website has created, or if there are certain external agents or there are agents that you're already using on your website. So you can simply import those external agents also on Watsonx Orchestrate. Also in part one, what I mentioned was a working example of creating a dummy website and then having it expose its OpenAPI format, which so all those four tools that were part of the website, which was just a simple CRUD operation, they were converted into tools on Watsonx Orchestrate. Now, in this video, what I'm going to do is it's a continuation, and this is part two of the video where I'm going to be talking about, and I'll give you an example as well as to how we can use MCP Server to be converted into tools or agents onto Watsonx Orchestrate. And then the latter part of the video, I'm going to talk about how an external agent can also be used within the complete agent that we are building. Right. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you. So for MCP server example, what I've done is I've created another MCP file, and this particular file has it's basically about stock recommender, right? It has got two functions essentially. The first function is get stock price, and then the other function is recommend stock price. I've put some dummy data right now. There's like an IBM stock, Apple stock, Microsoft, Google stock, and some dummy values. But this is just indicative, right? So the idea of this video is to tell you as to how you can have your MCP, the business logics that are wrapped within MCP server, how you can have that deployed as tools onto Watsonx Orchestrate. Now, the other interesting bit is that this particular thing is already deployed on Render, and I will put the description in the description box. And this is the fast API format of the same thing. Now, as I mentioned, that there are two key functionalities here. There's a get stock price, and then there is a recommend stock price, right? And let's see if we try it out and get stock price. Let me put IBM here and execute it, and then it should pick up the value which is it has done, which is 142.5, right? So essentially these two functionalities are now what we are going to do is we are going to have these two functionalities incorporated onto Watsonx Orchestrate. Now let's go and head straight to the same agent that we built, which was a travel agent. We built around figuring out everything around land of Expoda. So this is the same example that we used in part one of the video, right? And we incorporated four tools which were part of my OpenAPI file. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the same portion, same step, which was around import from file and import from MCP server. And I'm going to import everything as part of the MCP server. Now, as you can see, now those two functionalities, which was get stock price and recommend stock, they have now come as two tools within Watsonx Orchestrate. And let me go ahead and incorporate these two tools along with the four other tools that came in from the API side, fast API side. Now, the first four, which is create user, get user, update user, delete user, there's something that came from part one of the video where I exposed the API of a random API file that I created, fast API file. And then the last two options that you see, which is get stock price and recommend stock price, is something that has come from the MCP servers, right? Excellent. Behavior is going to remain the same, which is honest and professional. And why don't I do one thing? Why don't I show you the travel dossier once again? So this will give everyone who's right away seeing part 2 of the video and not part 1. So, this is one of the knowledge base that I've shared earlier in part 1 of the video, which is traveling to land of exporter. And this is a document that I've fed Watsonx Orchestrate. It basically gives everything about flight details to travel to land of exporter, some of the right from luxury, ultra luxury to budget hotel options, so on and so forth, and what essentially you need to do as part of your visit to exporter, right? Now, this is the document that I fed my agent that I've created in Watsonx Orchestrate. As you can see here, this is the same document. And then in toolset, the first four that you see, create, get, update, delete. This is something that has come as part of the OpenAPI file, something that I've covered in part 1. And in part 2, these are the two additional things. I know this probably doesn't correlate as to travel agency, everything, and then get stock price. But then the idea of the call is to give you an understanding of how you can actually convert your business logics or the business logics of your website and have them as tools on Watsonx Orchestrate. Now, let me go ahead and deploy this. There you go. Pretty easy. Success. And it's deployed. Now, let's go to the agent chat and let's talk to the agent. Great. So, hi. Hi, I'm Watsonx Orchestrate. Hey, can you give me flight details from Delhi to exporter? And it's going to go within the document, fetch all the relevant details from the document and show the results, which is like a regular RAG operation, right? So it's doing that, and there you go. It has got all the details. Great. Have me registered. My details are name is Ish, email is ish@gmail.com, and ID is 7890. There you go. Now it's going to go to the create user tool, and using the functionality within create user tool, it's going to register this particular name, email ID, and ID of Ish. And this is something that we can see here also. It's gone to create user tool. You have been registered successfully. Awesome. Also register my mom. She is Neil. Uh, Neil@gmail.com, and ID is 65432. And there you go. Both people are now registered. And if you want to see further, list the people registered, and then it will go to a different tool, which is listing all the tools. And it'll show you the details of all the people, Ish and Neil, registered in this case. And if I go to the reasoning section, you will be able to see it went to get user and it fetched all the details from get user. Excellent. Now it's the time to trigger the get stock recommender. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to firstly ask, hey, can you suggest some stock that I can buy? Under the hood, what will happen is it will go to the tool, which is get stock recommendation, and it will fetch all the details from there. And if you see here, it has gone to recommend stock tool and it has fetched the price of the IBM tool, just a random function recommendation of IBM and price as 142.5. It's pretty intelligent. Just recommended IBM here and not some other stock. Now, what I want to do is I want to trigger the other functionality also. And for that, let me see what APPL, right? So I'm going to this time call the other functionality, which is get stock price. So can you give me the stock price for APPL? So now it'll go under the hood, pick up the data. Okay. It says it couldn't find. Did I write APPL or was it AAPL? I'm sorry. Ah, can you uh, give me stock price of AAPL? So now again, it will go back to the same function or the tool in this case. As you can see here, get stock price, and it has got the details of APPL. Excellent. So I hope that give you an indication of how you can use your MCP servers, which is basically wrapping the entire business logic and expose them as tools onto Watsonx Orchestrate. Now, again, you can have this collaborate with some of the other tools or some of the other agents. It could be a Slack agent, it could be any other enterprise software agent, and this is going to work seamlessly because Watsonx Orchestrate supports all that through something that they call as Agent Connect framework, where they support agent-to-agent communication, and obviously you've seen that it also supports MCP servers. Right. So now the next thing in this video is I'm going to show you how some of the agents that you would have already built. Now those agents can also be imported onto Watsonx Orchestrate, which again is a pretty interesting bit. And I think that's where Watsonx Orchestrate sort of like steals the show, because not only you can have your business logics. Now let's say somebody who doesn't have any agents but have but they have business logics, right? Watsonx Orchestrate is so powerful that essentially those business logics can be converted into tools on Watsonx Orchestrate platform, which then talks to some of the other agents or tools in a very collaborative way, which is a very powerful thing. And then the other powerful thing, which sort of like again goes back to the entire Watsonx philosophy, which is about that, hey, we are very open in nature. Now, you have your agents that are running somewhere else. It could be created on some of the other open frameworks like LangChain, Langgraph, Crew AI. Those agents can also be imported onto Watsonx Orchestrate. And I'll give you an example of how this is being done. Let me share my screen here with you. So this is just me deploying the agent. Yeah. So what you can see is, and I'll give you the GitHub link as well. But what you see here is a LangChain Langgraph agent that I've created, and this is like a task um, prioritization um, agent, right? So you give it a list of tasks, and in a very random way, it will give you that, okay, this is what you should do as your task one. This is task two. This is task three, so on and so forth, right? That's essentially what this is. And this is built on LangGraph. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to have this uh, agent imported onto Watsonx Orchestrate. So for that, let's go back to the same example that we were working with. And now this time around, what we'll do is we'll go to add agents, because this is now an agent that we are talking about, right? And in this case, we're going to import agent, and this is an external agent that we are going to import. Now, there are different ways of authentication type. There is an API type or a bearer token. We will, in this case, give bearer token, and this is going to be change me 123. That's essentially the token that I've given. Um, and the service instance URL is nothing but your this particular URL that you get from what you have deployed onto render. And I'll give it a description as well, which is, hey, you are an agent that uh, takes multiple tasks as input and outputs tasks in the priority they should be worked upon. That's it. And you go ahead and import the agent. By the way, this bearer token is something that I've already sort of published in my Langgraph agent. And this is something that you can find as part of my app.py file, this one here. And as you can see, now this particular agent is now listed on Watsonx Orchestrate. It's going to work with OpenAPI file formats that you can see here. And also it's going to work with the MCP servers that I've deployed here. And this is like a full-fledged way that I've covered as to how you can actually have your business logics or MCP servers or external agents imported onto Watsonx Orchestrate and start working with them, in the sense that you can now have these business logics or tools or agents onto Watsonx Orchestrate and have them collaborate with other agents so that you can create your own end-to-end use case. So I hope you like the entire video, and if there are any questions, feel free to drop your questions in the chat below, and have a nice day. Bye.